Yes, there is. It's not just to sit here and say, hey, this is what's got to be done.
Angel is translating.
Oh.
Sorry, translating for 10 minutes now.
This is the thing about what the non-native world, where their cognizance level attains, not 100% of the truth, only maybe lucky 50%. Because in the non-native world, they got this story of this guy that comes down off the mountain with these 10 suggestions, but there is no avenues provided of how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the 10 commandments, so-called in the non-native world, is, oh yeah, how do you do it? For the last couple of thousand years, they've had these 10 commandments, but nobody's known how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells you something, that when there is a suggestion,
Mm-hmm.
that there's something in between you and a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
There is how it manifests. And so the difference here, what somebody just bringing a mere suggestion, is that within all our people, all our nations have received original instruction, have received law, what we call Guyana Rasada Skanagoa, great law of peace.
Mm-hmm.
When all the nations received this, this is what dictated to us how we then lived in this world politically. It created our political council fires, which created, or not created, but which subsisted off of the clan structure of the people. So the clan structure of the people is the source of the political council fire of the nation. And so from within the council, the clan councils in each nation, then the application of law is then put into effect from there. In 2015, we walked across the country. We went to all different native territories, all the different nations, and we went with that message that now we had to return our mothers back to their natural seat of authority. We had to return to our traditional councils. And so the plan of how to do this is great law of peace. Now, great law of peace is a constitution. It's not just words. When people hear this, this is the thing that everybody thinks they know. Oh, great law of peace. Yeah, we know that. Everybody talks like they know that. But yet, all the native nations are in such turmoil that tells you that nobody knows it. So our plan to how to
Propel, spread it.
Yeah, how to get this out to the people is for us. Ever since the Guyana Rasada Skanagoa was established over 2,000 years ago, it is established by law that we must have a law recital minimum every 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so the 5 years is up next summer. And so we offer to the world, even though nobody's going to show up, doesn't matter to me. We offer to the world, especially to our people of all our nations, to come and to join us in the recital of our law together. Not to come and sit here and to listen to me telling you, hey, this is our law, but to sit here together in discussion and to arrive at a conclusion as to what our law is together. Isn't this both in our minds? Yes, it is. Okay, so then does that mean this applies? Or what does it mean in respect to this policy? What's our position? Yes, exactly. We will create for all the peoples the position that everyone will know to take on all issues, especially when it's concerning or rooted within the original peoples. But as we can see, that the non-native world, they are not capable, and I speak in front of non-native people, they are not capable of taking care of themselves. They need to be fostered into the great peace, because all of their teachings, all of their knowledge is all war-based. So they don't know how to live in this world. It is us that have to show them. And this is where we cannot sway off our path, not one bit. We must never vary in this.
Abolition power man. Il faut abolir le pouvoir. Les hommes qui veulent toujours le pouvoir de manpower. Il faut abolition. Comment qu'on pourrait abolir?
How can we abolish the man always just
Parce-
want the power?
Parce qu'ils veulent pas avoir la paix.
They don't want
Ils
to
veulent
have
le
peace.
pouvoir,
They just
juste
want
le
to
power.
have power.
C'est dur. C'est ça qu'il faut apprendre au monde.
It's hard, and that's what everybody needs to learn.
Well, this is the two-row wampum bomb that we're dropping on them right now. Is that, as you referred to the video of Robert in the National Assembly pushing the two-row wampum? Well, we're pushing the two-row wampum constantly in teaching their children, because the non-native world cannot be trusted with children. They can't. Look what they've done with our children. What do you think they do with their own children? They poison their own children's minds with lies constantly, every day, knowing that it's official lies, state-sponsored in the schools. And now, as you know, they don't even want the true history to be taught. This is how evident now, how exposed the liar is. And so the truth is that we can't allow the non-native people to teach their own children. We have to teach them.
Ils enseignent même pas leurs propres lois. Les allochtones, c'est comme moi, qu'est-ce que j'ai? Les lois, soit les droits de la personne, les lois de la charte, tout ça. Les allochtones, ils apprennent même pas ça à leurs enfants. Comment se défendre.
Because she's got all of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and all of those legal documents that are supposed to be guaranteeing the non-natives to be in freedom. So she's saying they don't even teach that to their kids. So how are their kids going to be
throw all of that out anyways? All of that is nonsense. A Charter of Rights, it means nothing, even to Canadians. You can see just what Justin Trudeau did last year in stealing $5 billion from every Canadian to build a pipeline, which every Canadian knew was genocide. Justin Trudeau undermined everything that is in the Canadian Charter of Rights, whatever anybody thinks is in there. But what's in the Canadian Charter of Rights is not freedoms. People, even the non-native people, they think it's freedoms. No way, it actually steals their freedoms. But they're not used to having freedoms in the first place after thousands of years in the corruption of Europe. What do you think? A caged animal who's always poked and prodded, always beaten, and always starved to death. What do you think they're gonna know about anything? Much less anything about peace or knowing how to raise their children correctly. 2 days ago.
C'est justement, c'est pas la liberté. Ils ont créé des lois pour avoir la paix, mais finalement, ils ont exagéré avec les lois.
Yesterday, I don't know if it was yesterday or 2 days ago, we're in one of the schools and we're teaching teenage children. And this is how far gone they're gone, how far gone they are. I mean, they've corrupted the minds of their children so much that these are 16, 17-year-old boys who are identifying. There's no choice. There's no choice but for war in the world. This is how corrupted the non-native mind is. They got no choice. They teach their children that. Their young boys, teenagers in school are saying, we got no choice. They're waiting. They feel like men with a handgun in their hand. These are crazy people. These are crazy people created by crazy people to do crazy things. And so humans, whether they're native or non-native, have to come to terms with this, that there is crazy people out there in the street with guns who are ready, who are just like ticking time bombs, ready to go off to explode in everybody's faces. What we got to do is teach their children. But I'll tell you, on each reserve, if we did not exist here, there would be nobody in Kahnawake to trust to teach your children. because everybody in Ganawage has succumbed. They're all part of the poison of the genocidal elective system. They're all a bunch of ass kissers to the white man's democracy, because they're all dependent, because they're all the drug addict. They want his drug. They're all on it.
On est encore dedans.
This is still a genocide because of that needle thing, because they're gonna bring this new law, government of Quebec, François Legault. It's called primauté parentale. Primauté parentale means that they want to abolish the link of the parent with the kid, the blood link. So it's replaced that the children belongs to the state of Quebec, and it's gonna be voted sometimes this fall. So which means that for those who understand the law of peace and don't get the needle, this means that the government will come to the communities again and take those kids. Same residential school scenario that is to our doors now. So this has to be addressed. And what are we going to do to protect our kids? This is another topic that I wanted to bring, because they're going to do this soon.
Well, this
End
is,
of October, November. So I wanted you to know about this, because I don't know if you were aware of it.
we are fully aware of all the insanity that's
Yeah.
going on out there.
Yeah.
This is why we've slowly been like releasing it, or slowly putting the information out there
Mhm.
as to what you're seeing now. So many people are now quitting their jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a nurse, there's a doctor, even a lawyer. Okay, they're quitting their jobs. They can't work. You know what we got to do? We got to create a new, not economy, a new interaction.
Yeah.
Where these doctors and nurses that can't work, where they come to the native community
Yeah.
through the two-row wampum, and they can apply their healing, their medicine, which they know that they can't stop.
Mhm.
You'll get the true doctors.
Yeah.
Because now this is going to filter out all
Exactly.
the bullshitters,
Yeah.
because these are all the people who just want money, who are going for it, who are accepting it. And those are the people who, once they're in the system, they're not going to know how to take care of the people. They're not going to know how, because these are going to be new people.
Yeah.
So let's get all these people who are standing up for their humanity. They have to make the bridge now to the native communities to come and make the two-row wampum relationship to where they can have their expertise exercised.
Mhm.
We need doctors.
Yeah.
We need nurses.
Yeah.
We need all kinds of people with all these kinds of special
Talents.
skills,
Mhm.
because we're being isolated and kept from
Yeah.
each other. And only those people who are allowing themselves to be altered are going to have access to healthcare,
Mhm. I know.
where real humans are not gonna. No, real humans can only take a stand here.
Juste une minute. On avait pensé, tu sais, d'en parler, si on rencontrait des chefs comme lui.
We have thought
Parler, tu sais,
about
mettons,
talking to
pour,
you if
les
the,
médecins,
they
les
would meet
infirmières,
chiefs like you,
pourraient,
if
mettons,
they
les
would talk
accepter
to
ici.
the nurses, to
Aussi,
the
pourraient faire leur
doctors, that
médecine
you
ici,
could
puis eux autres, ça
welcome them
ça
here,
leur donnerait,
and that will give
can
you
have,
something, and they could continue exercising their
that's it.
medicine here. So
Because we've had that conversation a month ago, Nicole, in order to, how can we make this possible with communities and the staff walking out of hospitals? We had that conversation a month ago, so I'm really glad that this is around
Well,
fire tonight.
This is already starting to happen. But the thing is that what we have to understand is that our healthcare system now is going to be in the trenches. It's not going to be in a nice sanitized hospital.
No.
It's going to be in a place like
Yeah.
this.
Women.
Somebody who's going to need all of a sudden an operation for something.
Mhm.
We're not going to have a sanitized
Mais ça serait
place
sur
to do
vos
it.
lois. Tu sais, ça serait
That
sur
would be
vos lois. à
under the law of the 201, so the people would have to abide by this, and this would reconstruct again what was.
And
vous.
for all of this, of course, we know we got to be brave. This is a time for real women, real men to stand up, to be brave in light of not just getting arrested, not just getting beat up, but in light of getting killed. Because this is now the time of where everything is culminating into the end game. This is now, you could say that, what do they call that? The atomic clock. I think it was at 2 minutes to midnight, but now the atomic clock is right up till just a couple of seconds before midnight. And so this is where it's everything is on the line now. All bets are off. It's like all hands on deck. Our mother is dying in the emergency room. Everybody come and help. Everybody right now. That's it. There's nothing else to be discussed. And so that means as we're being squeezed out of our humanity and can't have access to the structures that you have bought and paid for out of your tax dollars, and you can't access that, they're showing you the truth of that. They're telling you you are an uncitizened citizen. You are no longer a citizen. Then why have you got to be subjected to paying taxes? Why? Because you are no longer represented. And in the world, legally, that means taxation without representation. That means dictatorship.
Yeah, it is.
So this means now, clearly we can see we have arrived at the truth of that. This is not an atmosphere of law.
No.
This is an atmosphere of lawlessness. And so it's survival.
Yeah.
Now let's see. If we're going to survive, where do we think we have more chances? Out there among the non-native people or among the native people? Where do we got more chances of survival?
Mais là, pour l'instant, c'est dans des réserves parce que présentement, on dit, ben, ça dépend lesquels.
There's some reservations, but not all of them. It depends.
Ça dépend ceux qui sont ouverts
Those
d'esprit.
who are open-minded versus those who are corrupted,
vous.
because lots of reserves are corrupted.
Well, this is the
Ça va
fact.
dépendre.
Yeah.
I'll say nowhere else. I'll say, go ahead, try to look for it. Try to find it anywhere else.
Yeah.
You're going to spend your whole life and you're going to end up right back here at this council fire.
Mhm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to work from here.
Yeah.
And if at any time you see or feel that this is a bunch of bullshit, this is a bunch of nonsense, we're not doing what we said, we're liars. That's when you make it known to everybody. We're a bunch of liars here. We're not doing what we're saying. We're misleading the public. And when you do that, then you must begin to lead. But if that doesn't happen, then we must all work together. We're in this canoe. We must all paddle together. We are never going to be in the white man's vessel. You're going to be in our canoe. That's the only reason why we see each other.
Mhm.
We're never going to be in the white man's vessel. I will never go there.
No.
I will never participate in any of the white man's corruptions. Never. I was dragged through it when I was forced to as a kid, but I will never do that ever again. The only way is that they're going to have to kill me. And so our only interaction together is because you are coming into our canoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Mhm.
And when in the canoe, it's our law that applies.
Mhm.
So understand something, that the rules of democracy, the way that you've come to believe, is the way that we interact. No way, throw it out the window.
Mhm.
Rules of democracy is actually the rules of animals.
Yeah.
These are pigs that conduct themselves
Mhm.
according to the way that so-called people in democracy conduct themselves. We conduct ourselves like humans.
Mhm.
We are the children of our mothers.
Mhm.
And we conduct ourselves with the respect by adhering to our mother's law. And so next summer, if you so wish, this is not just for you, this is for anybody.
Mhm.
We are carrying out our final law recital. And I say our final within the great cycle. The great cycle is ending. It's going to be in the 9th moon of next summer that it ends. And this is where the DNA will turn over. And our great mother is going to renew herself. And when this happens, we can think, oh, this is like some kind of religious mumbo jumbo or whatever. But you know for a fact that lobsters shed their shell.
Yeah.
How the hell can a lobster do that? How the hell can that hard shell be shed from every part of its body? How can a snake shed its skin? How do we shed our skin all the time without even noticing? These things are matters of proven scientific fact.
Mhm.
And so, in the great body of Sky Woman herself, the great cycle comes to an end. At the 9th moon, next year. Now you got to know when the night moon is. Of course, that all depends on when the first moon is.
Yeah.
So this is where each nation has to get to their original instruction to discover. When does your year start?
L'ancien calendrier.
When does your year actually start? We know when our year starts. We know when our first moon is. But anyways, regardless, it's going to be in the ninth moon of next summer. And so by that time, this is when we start the law recital. This is when we start the transition. The journey starts then. Right now, we're just
Mais là, il y a un
getting to
problème.
the terminal. We're just getting ready to take off.
Là, il y a un problème. Tu parlais d'ADN tantôt. Là, je ne sais pas si j'avais bien compris ton message, là. Mais l'ADN, tu disais que les gens vont se renouveler, tout ça, mais on ne pourra plus partager le sang, justement. On ne pourra plus partager, mettons, si tu te fais mal, on ne pourra plus avoir de transfusion parce qu'on est devenus des purs sangs. Qu'est-ce qu'on va transmettre? Qu'est-ce qu'on va pouvoir faire? Tu sais, les femmes celles qui vont être capables d'avoir des enfants, qu'est-ce qu'ils vont transmettre dans le niveau du sang? Ça va tout va être au savoir. Là.
Yeah.
Fait que qu'est-ce qu'on va faire?
Well, this is it. Imagine if it's our own body. If there's 100 blocks that make us up. Well, just one of them gets the poison first and it spreads. Well, the fact is that we're coming down to maybe we're already at the last block or the last few blocks. This is the reality we have to wake up to. We got to wake up to that we're by ourselves now. We're alone. There isn't anybody else. There isn't nobody that's going to come and save us. It's us. And so if we don't make it from here, well, then the game's over. But our job.
It's for that. Il faut préserver nos enfants.
Protect the kids.
Il ne faut pas les vacciner.
Yeah, we can't.
Garder le pur sang.
Everybody knows we are 100% against it. This is something that is starting now. It's a wave that all of a sudden is starting to build in the non-native world because 6 months ago, they could all say, nah, do whatever, was coming. But now the reality is hitting them and they see that they can't do nothing. They can't go anywhere. There's no wiggle room. Their only place is to come to us. And this is the reality that's happening now. And so now there are many non-native people, professionals who consider themselves to be well-educated people who have no choice but to come to us now. And for what? What really can we do except guide them out of the maze that they have been stuck in? We're not going to go into that maze. No way in hell. I am not going to risk my spirit for the non-native people that have put themselves in that maze. But by the law of the two world wampum, I hear children screaming in their house because I know they're crazy in their house. And the children in their house are not safe. So I have to direct their children out of the maze that their stupid parents put them in. And this is where we confront them. We're confronting children. We're confronting the corruptions that parents put lies into their children. And we're showing their children peace. The children are learning something that they would never learn otherwise. And so we are working constantly in every direction. Now, we come to the reality of that we're on our last leg. Yes, at this point, the other night on our Zoom, I warned everybody, make sure you don't even get hurt. Don't even go to the hospital for a broken bone. If we get a broken finger from here on, there will be no medical services for us. So we have to be careful with our health. We have to be extra careful. A strong man like this thinks he can lift up 150 pounds, no problem. Strong man like that's got to stop and think, no, I have to be around So instead of lifting that 150 pounds himself, he's going to get somebody else so that two of them are only going to lift 75 pounds. He's not going to get hurt. You cannot risk getting hurt at this stage of the game for nothing, not even a common cold. You can't risk a broken bone. You can't risk a hernia. You can't risk anything. You have to make sure as much as possible that you keep yourself in health and in shape with other people assisting you so that everybody's going to be able to move at the same speed, the same pace together. We can't leave anybody behind. That's what they say in the wars, but they kill everybody and they leave their dead. We're not going to have any dead. Everybody else is going to have the dead. We're going to have living humans. And we're going to nurture our humans back the way that our mother showed us.
Yes.
And they're going to be strong on the land again. It's like Ungwe Hungwe. The true being will be back. We got to hold true to our original instruction to make sure we can't get nervous right at the end thinking that, oh no, we're not going to make it. Well, let's put this one there, knowing that they're going to break, knowing that they're going to give in. Nope. We stand strong right to the end. And we only put the one that's strong there, the one that is not going to give in. If we give in, if we fall, we die, that one is going to stand strong. And it'll be inspiration to the next one. It'll be an inspiration to the next. We're going to get through this darkness. Just understand it's this. It's like the hourglass. We're all sands in that hourglass, and we all like to be together. That's peace. We like to be together. But the fact is that we're all going through the test of our humanity alone. And we're all going to pass through that little narrow passageway by ourselves. The test will be to us. It won't be to anybody else that we're hanging on to. So don't put so much worth or value into another person that you hang on to. Make it yourself. Make it yourself that is your own inspiration, that you hang on to yourself, and that you don't have to worry about standing there and somebody else is going to stab you in the back. Stand alone. If you can stand alone, then you can stand against anything. And when all our people have that, that's when we're all standing together. That's the exact same stupidity that they're using out there right now in this contrived virus shit. They're saying, let's all be together, separate.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
On my side, like you mentioned, to stand strong in our position. Right now, I'm helping nurses and teachers, women. There's 8 nurses in our hospital that refuses that. Doctors, and the hospital will probably shut down. And I'm helping these women. Every week I talk to them. I reaffirm the fact that this is lies, and this is not right. They need to oppose that and resist. A couple of them have given, but there's some remaining strong. So it really connects to what these women try to do right now, and I'm gonna pass on that message that we just said to them for these nurses and those teachers. There are not many, like in the staff, like for 150 people, there are 8 nurses, but they resist. Same school, same at my job. Everybody's vaccinated, but I stood up to the mayor and I said, "This is not my luck. My luck is the medicine of the land, and this shit will not go in my body. And if you force me to leave, I will go after you." Stopped it right away. They never pushed me again. So there's a way to reverse that in the same way you said, by standing strong, by finding this power within our mother, the land, that is giving us everything to fight back with those true medicines. And when Trudeau said last week, there's going to be exemption for religious belief. So my belief is the land. You know, it's there before anything. So I'm exempted from that shit.
Well, there's a catch-22 there. You got to be careful. Because if you attribute the land to a religious belief,
it's the
then-
spirituality of who we are. We come from it.
Hang on. if you attribute it to a religious belief, then, like all religions, it's known that they're fantasy. So then, if you say it's a religious belief, then it is in the realm of fantasy.
Okay,
so-
I understand. Yeah, I see where you're going.
So the reality of all the original peoples is that it's not a religion. It is a way of life, and the way
Yeah,
of life
exactly.
is to move with the natural rhythms and cycles of creation. And so to build all this back, it's about, like we said, it's about teaching. It's about fighting at the
Yeah.
same time, out there fighting there and teaching here, teaching there. This is what we do. Why Gerda? That's the reason why he's here tonight, is because he teaches not just here with us the language, but he teaches all over the place, children. And this is what we maintain, that we have to, while we're out there fighting, we have to, the main focus is teaching the children, because that kind of thing is not muscle memory. Muscle memory, you don't have to teach yourself, you do those things automatic. It's the thinking part, because in the non-native world, it's the intellect that is dormant.
Yeah.
They have neutralized their intellectual abilities because of the male dominance cancels out the functions of the duality of the brain. But they tell you right now, they'll tell everybody, they'll diagnose people, especially right now, with a mental illness called bipolar. They diagnose everybody with being bipolar. But wait a minute. Don't we have two poles? Don't we have two polarities? And aren't those two polarities supposed to work together? And if they did work together, wouldn't that be bipolarity? So what is it that we're in right now? What we're in right now is a unipolarity, a one polarity of male dominance. And the male dominance in the brain, in order for it to dysfunction in male dominance, it cancels out the female side of the brain. But it has to have, or at least have the appearance of a reciprocal of a conversation. And so what it does is it just goes around in its own side of the brain, like a dog chasing its tail in circles, and it creates a schizophrenic identity, so it can ask itself questions, and the other identity in itself can answer that question and be absolved of responsibility. You know what that is? That is schizophrenia of democracy, but it is also something else. It is the corporate structure of the world. It is brain injury.
Yeah.
Everything from within the European thinking that has been manipulated, not a naturally occurring thing, manipulated over thousands of years to have a dysfunctioning bipolar brain, to where it's just a unipolar brain, male dominant, stuck just in war. So the teaching of all of this, we confronted it the other day with these teenage kids who all they can see is war.
Yeah.
War. The one kid actually told us that his grandfather or great grandfather fought on both sides of World War II. Imagine that. And this kid is saying that we got no choice. We have to pick up guns and fight. So this is how much they have poisoned the minds of their young boys. This is religiosity. It's murder. It's rape. It's oppression of everything. And so we fight this on every level, every second of the day. Don't forget, it's in symbolism. Imagine if I don't know if you have children, but imagine if one of your children, knock on wood, this never happens. Imagine if one of your children were shot, killed with a gun. Would you wear a gun around your neck? Would you wear the symbol that killed your child? That would be a blasphemy to your own child. This is what killed my child. Look, everybody, I display it. So symbolism, all of this stuff. This is where we fight these things in incremental steps. It's these incremental ones that will turn it into huge adjustments in our lives. So we address every little small one. We remove it out. Don't wait for somebody else. Don't wait for it to happen in the band system. Shit all's ever gonna happen in there except a bunch of stupid asses selling our people up. So you don't wait for anybody else. You do it within ourselves. We got to do it now. I challenge you. And I challenge you to challenge me. And to challenge your sisters and brothers. To challenge all of us. To step aside from all of these things that killed our mothers and fathers. Put it to them that way. Why do you hang on to the things that killed our mothers and fathers? That kidnapped, raped, and murdered little children. Why? Challenge everybody to separate from that.
It's basically the power too, the power and the money. This is the people, the part.
Well, this is the thing. We were confronted with money. We could have money. We don't have money. We could have accepted it. We could have our hand out, and we could be yes people. Instead, we're poor. We're dirt poor. This is us, dirt poor. But we have integrity. We have our spirit. And I know that when the time comes when I'm going to face my mother, I will be able to face her with pride. I will not have a single thing in my life that I will have a regret or that I wish I didn't do this or I wish I'd done that. I'll be able to face my mother with 100% certainty is that I'll be able to follow her on her path. How many of our people will be able to say the same thing?
This war, you said these kids, you went to talk to teenagers the other day. See how they've been tricked. They think they're going to load up guns to go to Asia or go to, they're going to fight right here in Quebec. There's two armies, needles and non-needles.
Yeah.
And that's why our own children are going to kill us. I'm feeling the squeeze right now. I feel it right now from my own family. But what will be, will be. But I mean, I guess they have no more conscience now. You know, I couldn't, even then with needles, would I want to kill them? I say, no, but you're crazy. You just injected yourself with something. You're not sick. It's more crazy to inject yourself with something when you're not sick, to say you're protecting yourself. That's big pharma saying the more money we can pull in from you because you're afraid to die. So if you're religious, your biggest fear is to die and go to hell. I wouldn't even say, well, this is hell on earth. This is life. We're living, we're a spirit having a human experience.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So when we die, that human part of us dies, but the spirit stays. That's why what you say and your actions in your family may mean nothing, but somebody on the outside might say, boy, that person, Mary Code, she's got something. She really has something special. And there's a lot of fear mongering. And me, I'm older than most people in this room, in this tent. And I did a lot of reading. I never went to school, but I did a lot of reading. But I read Mein Kampf. It's Adolf Hitler's. And this is exactly what's going on. It's the same thing. And this here, North America was going to be the Fourth Reich. This is the Fourth Reich.
I told that to people and they laugh at me. They think I'm crazy.
No, you're not crazy. It's because now the people are looking for Mein Kampf. I found out the other day, see, I'm always, you see Hitler is like, oh, don't read about Hitler. I want to know him. I want to know him, you know. I didn't know Jesus either, but he was probably a good man. And then he got hijacked. I don't know, though. I wasn't there. But Hitler, I wasn't there either, but I read all his stuff. And they said he was the first man who, the chancellery of Germany, he owed money to the German state because he wasn't in power yet. But the first thing he did was, when he got in power, was he made himself tax exempt. So he's tax exempt. So actually, if he's tax exempt, means he came through a religious order. And Adolf Hitler himself had spoke to the Pope, right? He spoke to the Pope before the war.
I don't believe in the Pope at all.
I know, neither am I, but he did speak to him before. So now, if you were the Pope and this man came and told you his plan, I'm going to kill everybody, doesn't that tell you the corruption is right between those two?
Those two entities, it's the religion and the government. It's been like that since the world is the world. It's crazy.
Hitler
Like that.
received the emperor's welcome. That's when he met that guy they called the Pope. It was an emperor's welcome. They say that Germany lost the war. I'll propose to you that they didn't. I'll propose it's the other way around. Because who's the head of the Allied forces? Britain. That woman they call the Queen.
Yeah.
What is she? Is she English? She's German. She's a German. So look at who's in charge here for the last 80 years, or however long she was in position, of the Nazi concentration residential school camps.
Yeah.
It was her.
Yeah, I know.
She's a Nazi. That's the British, the so-called British.
The
They're
Nazis is the
actually
same.
Nazis hiding in British disguise
Yeah.
here, holding everybody in so-called Canada who are all loyalists, especially throughout the
Yeah.
green belt of Ontario. All the loyalists there are all thinking they're loyal to something, even without them knowing what they're loyal to. They're all loyal to something that isn't even their own identity. They think it's British or whatever, but it's not. It's German. So the reality of the perceptions of the world is everybody seeing things backwards. So let's just think, are we actually advancing technologically? Well, if it's backwards, no, we're not. Technology is obviously what's killing us, so there's no advancement.
No.
You don't have to be smart to slice your wrist with a knife. You actually have to be stupid to do that. Unfortunately, people who do that, it's not that they're stupid, it's that their whole world is manipulated, is adjusted, changed to where that person just can't accept this world, can't fit into this world. And this is the reason why we have so many children taking their lives. Knock on wood, we know that recently that there's more within the Innu Nation that are taking their lives, children. I asked myself, or I said the other day, why is this happening to the Innu so much? And it's obvious, because they're just getting hit now with things that we got hit with a long time ago. They think, let's say you live up in Setil, the people in Maliutina or Natashquan, are they exposed to the same type of colonial advancement that we are? Oh, no, it's more advanced here. But now it's just hitting them because with the expansion of the road going through their communities a few years ago, now they're starting to get hit where people are wondering, how come our children are killing themselves? It's because of that goddamn road. What did the road bring in? It brought in drugs. It brought in poisons. It brought in all the corruptions. For us here, or let's say for the Innu, having the road brought in there looks like a good thing. For us, ironworking looked like a good thing. No, ironworking was the worst thing that could have ever happened to our people because it brought in all the poisons, all the corruptions, all the drugs, all the alcoholism. This was all brought in by ironworking. And this was put into our heads of that we have to leave the community to provide for our family. How in the hell can we provide for our family if we're not there? We're not providing. All you're doing is sending them money. That doesn't provide anything. You're actually giving them more problems if you're just sending them money. So we all succumb to a backwards thinking that manipulates us into doing something that we want to believe or want to think that it's good or it's right, we should do it.
Well, at the time when I went to do steel work here, I was 17. And first of all, I wasn't Catholic. that was one thing. We weren't Catholic, and you might as well be black in South Africa. So there was no, and here there was always food given. I remember one year in the 50s, they gave clothes leftover World War One felt pants, and all the boys had them on. But you know, when you're a kid, you kind of like want a pair. It's like Levi's. But these were guys had it folded up because they were men's army pants. And he said, no, they only give them at the Cattery Hall. And you know, if you weren't Catholic, you couldn't go to the Cattery Hall. So it didn't matter. We just, look, today I'm in style. I got ripped pants. That's what we had in the 1950s. But anyways, getting back to that time, so we had to get out of here, a lot of us. And we just got out. And then, like he was saying, we're sending money back. I was never home to raise my daughter. I mean, I seen her, but not as much as I should have. And so, but today, no, it's not needed because there's more work here in this town now. And yeah, but it's still controlled by the church. There's still, you could be replaced because everybody knows who everybody is. You know, and but at that time, yeah, a lot of that stuff came in World War II, and one brought in all those drugs too. Because the old timers used to talk about that. And it wasn't even like it was just a few guys that I didn't know, but my mother, her uncle, because I wanted to join the service before I went to be an ironman. And she says, no, look at my cousin. She says, he came home and he was nothing but a bum. She says, you remember him? He was always drunk. And the poor guy, like, I'm not calling him down because he was a drunk. It wasn't his fault. He went to see the Second World War. And if you've seen this man, he doesn't look like he could fight his way out of a wet paper bag. But everything he's seen in Europe of all this killing must have made him into a bigger alcoholic.
Yeah.
So he became more of a health risk when he came home. Because he was the nicest guy. He would see us, he'd be shaken, and he was only like he wasn't even 30 years old.
Wow.
And he died that way. And I you know, at the beginning, I didn't like it. And then when I got to see how alcohol can destroy a person, and I said, this poor man, he was crying out for help, but he wasn't going to get any. He just kept feeding him the booze. So he killed himself way ahead of his time, you know, with the booze. So I had to do a reevaluation of this man. I said, he's poor. Yeah, he was very religious too, but they had him coming and going. You know, it's like somebody starting to kill you and then bring you back to life just to make you strong enough, and then starts punishing you again. Then finally, he just died, and he had family because I'm part of his family, and alcoholism runs in my family, and it's starting to change. I mean, coming from the time I grew up in Guanajuato, we wouldn't be having this discussion. Everybody would be partying. So where now it's really low, or it went underground. There's people hiding, drinking somewhere because a lot of people store lunches a lot of times. They're a longhouse. They say they're longhouse, but they're doing all kinds of things. But can we judge them? No, it's not fair, but somewhere along the line, their body tells them out, rats them out. They're gonna come out. So you know, all this this stuff that's happening right now, it's to start it's in like interprovincial cleaning, that they're getting these young kids ready. Imagine the right leader right now could stand up and just say, okay, you'll be rewarded by eliminating people with no needles. If you kill them, it's not a crime. And they all know who doesn't have the needle.
Imagine what the minds were of the people. Just say when there was a bounty on native scalps. Now there's going to be a bounty on the non-native people who don't have vaccines. This is what we said a few years back. There was an event, a protest against bitumen, call it oil.
Was it the fracking?
They were transporting the bitumen through the St. Lawrence. Anyways, there was a protest in Sorel. There was a whole bunch of people there. And of course, the people in Sorel, around there, it's kind of rich, nice homes and that, even though it's a heavy industrial place.
She lives in Sorel.
Okay, well then, when we were there, so these people were all complaining. There was 3 ships that were anchored right off in the river there. And everybody was there, and they had this big sign there. And I asked them, I said, take the sign down. So they dropped the sign. I says, look at those 3 ships. I said, you know what that is? That's the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. I says, and now you are the native people.
Yeah.
And now you're in our shoes.
Yeah.
Well, now, more so than ever, all the non-native people who want to be human and who don't want to get this forced inoculation, they're going to be the native people now. Now you're the ones that are going to be hunted down. Now you're going to see what it's like to be human. Even though that most non-native people, not to pull any punches here, most won't qualify to be human. But if they're stubborn enough to say, no, I ain't going to get the vaccine, well, they'll be hunted down like dogs now. Just like the native people were. This, what he said about what happened back in 1946, this is stuff a part of the great witchcraft of the mind manipulation that people don't know what's affecting us right now, that it stems from 1946. We think 1946 is just World War II. No, it's not just World War II. People of today have no clue. They do not know the truth of what happened to get World War. Everybody just knows World War, World War I, World War II, but they don't know what is the causes of it. They don't know what really has happened. The true causes of these things, of which affecting us, is in 1946, the great witchcraft of what they killed women for in Europe. They called them witches. Why did they kill them? What were they doing? What did they accuse them of? They accused them of things like alchemy. Okay, and they got killed for alchemy. What is alchemy? Let's see. If there was such a thing as nuclear power back 500, 600 years ago, would that not be considered alchemy? You're damn right, that's alchemy. That's witchcraft. 1946, through all the buildup of the bombs, the explosions in the Bikini Islands, in New Mexico, in Nevada, and finally dropping what they call the Fat Man and Little Boy on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These were not acts of war. These were witchcrafts that altered the entire planet. It altered everybody molecularly. And to alter the minds of the people, you got to get in molecularly, which is bringing us right back to that same place today. That's how they're getting into the minds of the people again, molecularly through inoculation. And so what happened back then in 1946 here, all of our people, you ask in your nation, find the elders, and you're going to see that there was something they did in 1946. Every nation did it.
Yeah, comme le passeport vaccinal. Le passeport vaccinal qui est introduit aujourd'hui, à l'époque, dans le temps des nazis avec les Juifs, ils avaient introduit le passeport aussi. Eux autres, ils n'appelaient pas ça le passeport vaccinal, mais c'était le passeport sanitaire. Ça veut dire que les Juifs n'avaient pas le droit de rentrer soit dans les cinémas, soit dans le... Hein?
C'est la même chose qui arrive aujourd'hui.
Oui, c'est exactement ce qui arrive aujourd'hui. Aujourd'hui, on a un passeport vaccinal, c'est qu'on est comme les Juifs, dans le fond, comme moi, là. Si je n'ai pas le passeport, je ne peux pas aller dans un magasin ni dans aucun commerce. Fait que qu'est-ce qui est en arrière est revenu aujourd'hui.
Ouais. À même date, Différentes années, mais en même date.
En même date, en plus, the same date.
Yeah. And so what you see is this is a witchcraft because it works on the manipulation of the mind. But like I said, inquire with your elders, and you're going to see in 1946, every nation did something within our nations to counteract that great witchcraft. We did something here. And throughout the 5 nations Longhouse Confederacy, every nation, every community participated in it. But it was only the Longhouse people.
Can we do it again?
So here in Ganawagi, what the Longhouse people done, it's, I mean, the people who know about it, it's nobody left now. It's really now just me who knows now what was done in 1946 throughout the Confederacy level, on the Grand Council level. There was a Grand Council that was held in Onondaga, and they did the exact same thing in Grand River at the same time.
Wow.
And each of them, in each place, because people from Ganawagi attend in Onondaga, people from Ganawagi attend in Grand River. So in this sense, every one of the 5 nations, every community was all a part of what took place in 1946. And I'm not going to tell anybody what it is, but I'm going to know what it is. And only the people who are those people, only they will know. Because there is an action that all I would have to do is just give a little clue to anybody. And they're going to say, oh, yeah, okay. There was an action that was taken on an official level from Grand Council that went back as a policy into every community. Your nation done the same thing. The Anishinaabe done the same thing. Every nation, even out west, the Wet'suwet'ens. But you know what? Nobody's going to remember it now. Try to find your elders. Think of this. The white man is here, not for very long. You know, World War II. That's only like what, 440 years they were here. It's not very long.
What did they do?
From World War II, this is the action that they took in the white man's world. Now think of this: all the war, all the killing, all the nuclear bombs, all the craziness. Do you think that we're just going to be sitting here in our longhouses and in our teepees and not do anything about it? Do you think we're going to know of all that insanity and we're just going to sit still and quiet? No way. We all did something. You got to remember what it was you done. Ask your elders what they did. Here.
They're dead. My ancestors are dead too. So I don't know.
Mes grands-parents sont décédés.
Well, listen, I'll tell you, there's things that there's no way in hell, no way for me to know some things, but I can still communicate with my mother. I can still communicate with my father. I can communicate with all my ancestors. I can communicate through my clan to all my ancestors. And so, if I want to know, I can do that. So can you. Find it out. It be something that comes from the true spirit. Because if it doesn't happen in each nation, then that nation's already dead. So if you just leave it as that there's no more elders or there's nobody that knows, then your nation is going to be dead. Make it happen. Make it known again. Remember it. You will remember it. It's in your line. All of us are going to be confronted with it very soon. Everything, in a nutshell, everything's going to culminate in the 9th moon of next year. So basically, make a long story short, in this next 12 moons, is it 12 now?
Yeah.
In these next 12 moons, it's complete separation from corruption. If not, then just think of it as the lobster shitting its shell. Now imagine if there's 100 parts of the lobster hanging on to the shell. All 100 of them have to let go. Imagine if you got maybe 10 of them still hanging on. That shell is not going to come off. And if it doesn't, you're going to die. It's going to be like a woman having a breech birth. She can die. The 26,000 year cycle of renewal, this is where we're at. I mean, even modern science is starting to even say that. Modern science just identified 26,000 year cycle. It's a true thing. The true cycles within us are real. Our DNA actually does grow. It actually does rotate. And there is actually parts of it that are placed in there. And if they don't fit, are jettisoned from there. It's a fact. It's not something we got to think about and what we got to say, do this. It's what happens. And it's what's going to happen to us. In each of our nations, you're going to see this great darkness, this nightmare that came to us, just going to disappear like that. The people are just going to disappear. Are they going to stay real? This is up to them. If they're going to stay real, they got to fight. All we got to do is remember. If we don't remember, our nations are dead.
Je me sens, moi, déjà là, je me sens comme dans une autre dimension en ce moment. C'est vrai. Avec tout ce qui arrive, là, on est comme si on était dans un autre monde.
I feel that too, that we're like in a separate world, a world that is not part of the corrupted world, like the world that was at the beginning.
So
Là, il
if
faut se recentrer puis parler à nos ancêtres. C'est ça qui est important. C'est de revenir à nos sources. Mais ce qu'il faudrait faire, c'est qu'il faudrait que toutes les nations autochtones puissent se soutenir ensemble. Que des gens d'influence puissent se parler entre eux pour être capables de sauver ce qui a resté à sauver.
okay, I got a question for you. I want to speak to you as my sister right now. I want to support you. Can you support me in separating from all those corruptions? I want to be separate. I don't want the poisons of the white man's religion. Can you support me in that? Then you are my sister. Then we have gained ground tonight.
Well, we don't have enough light, but they are giving themselves a hug right now at this moment.
Je suis heureuse d'être ici avec vous. C'est le fun de parler avec vous.
It's nice to speak to you.
Parce qu'on peut se supporter.
Because we
C'est
can
comme
support
un
each other.
groupe de sport, puis on a les mêmes idées,
And we
de
have the same
same.
ideas.
Yeah, it's fun. J'aime partager avec vous les histoires, puis votre connaissance, c'est le fun.
I like to share stories with you and also your knowledge. It's really a lot of fun.
We gained a lot of ground tonight. The discussion broke through a ceiling.
A percer le
Both
plafond.
all of us have been in a struggle. All of us are in some type of struggle. We're in a struggle for our survival. The non-native people are in a struggle to try to get back to their humanity. You and I, Wayagero, even Edith, to in our journeys, we're experiencing a different reality than what everyone else is. Or let's say everyone else is not experiencing reality. We are. They're corrupting it.
By not fitting in. See, this whole thing is about fitting in. And how many people didn't really want that needle, but they wanted to fit in. And for me, I never fit into anything, but I'm still alive. So, but I love a lot of people. I say, try to stand up to this fitting in thing, because there's more losers than there are winners. So when they're saying that certain countries, 80% is inoculated, well, you got 80% losers. So I want to know the 20%. That's the one I want to talk to, because now we're no longer black, white, French, English. We're back to the human race of every color.
Yeah.
Who are standing up, and the numbers are great, but we believe in ourselves. And when you believe in yourself, you can go a long way. And then if you have all these, there's actually billions, if we were talking numbers. So we have a few billion people at our back. So maybe that's how creation started. We're getting right back to the brass. It's a regeneration of the world. It's the world is coming back. Even Yukistan, what's our Mother Earth? She's renewing herself. She's turning. Like we always talk about the baby turning before she comes out. So the new baby's coming, and we're part of that baby. And we're gonna suffer a lot. Like he was saying, don't get hurt, because you get to the hospital, they say they can't treat you unless you get a needle. So then we'll have to learn. We have to fix our own splints and stuff. I hope it doesn't come to that though, because then we're going back into this, what they called us savages. We're going into a savage world. But within language, like I told the people I teach, I says, when somebody calls you a savage, say thank you. And they'll think you're mentally unstable. Because in our language, Kanienkeha, that's a savage. So that's what you want to be. You want to be free. It's a free person or a free animal.
What did they with you?
That's it.
That's my niece's name.
Yeah.
That's my nephew Kyle's daughter.
Yeah.
Ah, she's beautiful too.
But see, when you're going into all of creation, you go into the feminine. It's not rather the Neo, because we all carry that female chromosome, I guess. You know, a lot of men won't admit it, but the men that do, they're balanced. And anyways, but this is what it is, what the Neo, and that's something that's free. That's like the animals. We hunt them. That's why we see Goderio, but the Neo, the free savage beasts. It's the ones we eat, the castor, all the miel, whatever.
What's that word, Guindidio again?
Goderio is to be killed.
To be killed.
Yeah, but see, that comes from a direct translation from the English. For us, when we do the when we talk about the animals, when we get to the animals, say, the one that offered their bodies to us. We don't put the killing into it. When you go to hunt a moose or a deer or whatever,
They come to you.
they came to you. You didn't go to them. So change your way of thinking totally.
Was a bear that came 21, but spring 2020, and it came so close with the footprints under the window, the patio door
When was that?
last year.
So the bear brought
2020.
you medicine. The bear clan is a medicine clan.
Yeah, this is my clan. Bear Paw is the spirit name I have received in the Anishinaabe house. And I have received that name. It was in 2017. And the bear came 2020, spring 2020. So
you're on a medicine path. This is what you're doing right now. This is medicine being applied. If you can look in the body of cells, just imagine all the cells that you're seeing, they look like humans. And in your body, they all look like you. Because that's what Marianne looks like. So every cell looks like you in there, but there's a doctor. They're not all doctors. All of them got to go and do their regular stuff. There's one doctor that comes around, and it comes and it deals on a molecular level to have your head straight. to have you free of fear, to have you to have your body functioning. And so this is where then, like in your body, the cell that's the doctor, the Marianne, applying the medicine in the body of our Mother Earth. This is what you're doing. You're applying the medicine, and this is what it looks like. It's applied like this, because the medicine that's needed is not a medicine to a trauma like a broken leg, a broken arm, or something.
No.
It's a trauma in the mind where the people who are inflicted with the trauma are oblivious to it. And they're not going to ever entertain the idea that, hey, maybe there's something wrong with the way that I think. No, they won't do that. So a medicine has to be applied. This is the job of the women. Like it or not, we could say, hey, what about men doing their job? Job of the women is to apply the medicine all the way through the life process to make sure that your children grow strong and healthy, so that when they do, they will grow up to be doing the work for you that you want to be done. So the bear coming to you is in the big picture, bringing you a medicine that you couldn't even see. Almost like a video game where there's a power pill there to give you more life energy or something. You can't see it, but there it is. And then this is what you're doing, applying the medicine. So as you probably already know, then this is stuff that you need to pursue in the further nurturing of your clan, of what that power is connected to you. And this is for everybody, because everybody is connected to a clan. No matter who you are, there's the 3 universal clans of turtle, wolf, and bear that everybody on earth is connected to. Which are you? That's going to be the inner journey that each person has to take. If their clans have been stolen and lost from them, you got to get the clan back. Non-natives had clans, same as us. Maybe different part of the world, a little bit different, but still clans. When you're part of a clan, you're part of a larger family. You're nurtured into a larger human reality, not just you, not just your immediate family.
And it's weird because that bear came to our house, like so close, we could have touched it. And after that, we went to Listabush Reservation because we don't live on the reserve. We live like a mile away from it. And the next day, the Mi'kmaq saw the bear on the reserve. So I'm like, this means something. But I knew it was connecting to medicine, and Ira, which is Mi'kmaq that don't live there, but in our house, saw the bear, goes, wow, this is something. There's something here. And we were trying to understand what it was because it went to the community after. And we're here discussing this today. And it happened in 2020 where COVID started. So this is powerful here, what's going on. So I don't know if the medicine applies to the Kanienkeha and the Mi'kmaq together starting something, but I don't know. I'm just putting this here around the circle.
Well, every nation says that nothing's going to happen until we and them get together.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's the Mi'kmaq and the Kanienkeha, or if it's the Hopi and the Anishinaabe, nothing's going to happen until we get together. It's to remind us of that we were all once together. Everybody, the entire continent was all together, united in the most complex social network and political system the world has ever known. The white man, what he's got, it's garbage. And if you're fed garbage, and you're taught that it's steak, well, you're going to be saying, look how good my steak is. But somebody else who actually has steak is going to be looking at you like, you're eating garbage. This is how we look at the non-native world, the European world. Their political system is what makes you all crazy, because democracy makes you schizophrenic. Anybody who participates in it, it's a schizophrenic system that divides the people through voting. First thing it does, any mother, are you going to divide your children? Are you going to divide your children with make a choice between this and that? What mother is going to do that? You don't divide your family. You bring your family together in consensus. And the only way you can get consensus is if your decisions are not based on your opinions, because no opinions will ever coincide. But the only way to assure that you get consensus is to first have a law in which all of you use in which to conclude, not your opinion, but what the law says. And so we will all find ourselves biting the bullet and being very stern and saying, in the past, I would have allowed this, but now I'm using law. And now I find that law tells me I can't allow it. And so people will become human again through applying this whole process that we're talking about. But for each person, native or non-native, it's rooted within the clan system. The clan of your the powers that you are emitting, the powers that you work with. Anyways, for all of this, we go back to teaching, and back to teaching. I'll say that we were supposed to do our Kanienkeha class tonight. I guess that's obviously not going to happen.
You want to guess?
9:30?
It's 2021. Holy.
8:21.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2021.
Well, we got 39 minutes left.
You can do it here.
Yeah, but then we can't write anything, and we can't actually. Why, Gerdo, how do you? What about some? Okay, we'll do it here, and then maybe later we could just extract it.
I will extract it. It's recording since.
Okay, just based on everything that we talked about here tonight.
Okay, just let me try and get my battery for my phone, and I will try to write stuff when he speaks on a document.
Well, I can go get my computer. It might be easier.
Like you work.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Okay, he's going to the bathroom. He's got 7 minutes to get ready.
7? Exactly.
7 and a half.
Thanks, you. Let's break the 7 minutes. Ben là, c'est ça, je vais y en mettre la clé USB des lois, des lois non autochtones. She wanted to give you information regarding the laws of the non-natives. So the non-natives could try to defend themselves from the needle with those laws. And there was the oxide de graphène also on this, was it? Ça, je sais pas si là là-dessus. Okay. Mais moi, j'ai toutes les lois qui sont là-dessus. Puis tout avait enregistré aussi les lois 61, 127, 96. But I don't know if he's gonna. Je sais pas s'il va le prendre vu que c'est les lois des non-autochtones. Je pense pas qu'il va le prendre. OK, ben pour savoir si, mettons, s'il veut apprendre les lois justement des non-autochtones pour savoir qu'est-ce qui s'en vient. Puis aussi, qu'est-ce qui est bon, c'est en les sachant, lui, il peut savoir qu'est-ce qui se passe à l'extérieur des réserves avec les lois. What she's saying is like First Nation have their own laws, like you hear, and in the white society, they do have laws that they don't know to protect themselves. So she wanted you to take a look at it in order to understand the white side and their struggles and not knowing what they could use as to defend themselves.
Okay.
So you understand globally the situation in order to better help them.
All right. Yeah.
Parce qu'il y a aussi la loi de la primauté parentale là-dessus.
Oh yeah, the law that I talked about the primauté parentale to forbid the link between the parent and the kid, what the government wants to do to take kids. Yeah. This is what primauté parentale.
C'est la loi 61 ou la loi 96 que les policiers ont le droit de rentrer chez le monde.
There's a law 61 and law 96 that allows cops to go into your houses and take your kids on that thing too that she wants you to be aware of. And this is why the white people are freaking out right now.
Mhm.
Au moins, tu sais, il va savoir.
So you know what's going on in the white society and why they are helpless right now. They're completely vulnerable at all levels. They don't know their rights, they don't know the law that protect them. So you know exactly the desperation of why they need you so much.
Il peut aider aussi des allochtones qui connaissent
And you
pas
can
leur
help
loi.
you can help non-native people that don't know nothing, but teach them the right stuff.
Okay.
Oui, y avait-tu aussi là-dessus la loi des de nos coutumiers dessus? Y a-tu les lois coutumiers dessus?
Non, parce que j'ai pas été la chercher.
Ah, ok, il manque juste la loi.
She was
coutumière, mais
she was
il la
wondering about
connaît.
the tribal rights that all First Nation have prior to any law that was on the land after European King. So the tribal rights, she had information about that too.
Parce que.
Mais lui, est-ce qu'il les connaît, c'est
Tu sais,
les lois
il y a
coutumières?
même.
But the tribal rights, they have it with the 201 form. This is their law. So it's different with the Innu, it's different with the
When you
Oui, mais c'est international.
oh, it's the okay. I understand what you mean.
International.
So tribal rights is recognition internationally in the Declaration of the United Nations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Moi, je l'ai
what
aidé
she
dans
meant.
ma voiture. J'ai 800
She got
pages.
800
Recto verso
800
de
pages that you can print out to better understand the whole situation in the white world and what they don't know, what they're to understand globally what's what, you know.
Okay, let me tell you our position on the UN Declaration. That is garbage.
So it doesn't apply at all.
It does not apply.
Mhm.
If you apply to the United Nations Declaration, you are basically substantiating all of the corruption that has been here for the last 500 years.
Window dressing.
Yeah, because what it does is it recognizes so-called Canada and the United States as having the right to be here.
Oh, it's like reverse psychology
Yeah.
kind of thing, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
So if we apply to the United Nations Declaration, you automatically lose nationhood status, which is the reason why everybody is using that terminology of tribal. Because now, under the tax regime of Canada, which is applied this year, all native reserves are part of the tax regime
Oh
now.
my God.
Oh, attends, je crois que j'ai mal compris. Plus, moi, la situation.
À partir de this year,
Yeah.
this à partir de cette année, oui, en grip de la Déclaration des Nations Unies, on fait partie du régime
This is a trap.
Je savais pas.
didn't know that.
Oh, yes.
Quand est-ce
You
qu'on
got
dit ça?
you got to look at the wording.
When did they say that?
Ouais, quand est-ce qu'ils ont
Ouais.
parlé de ça?
When they spoke about it?
About the taxation?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, 1984.
Okay, 1984.
That's when it first started under what you probably heard of self-government negotiations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, the whole thing of self-government,
Ça fait longtemps de ça.
Ben, j'avais 3 ans.
oh
Non,
yes,
non, mais ça fait un pour moi.
but right now you're hearing them talking about concluding self-government. Why is something that started in the 1980s concluding in the 2020s? Why is that? There's
Il y a
nobody,
quelque chose qui a bloqué, ça doit être ça.
no, nothing blocked it. It's the plan.
Parce
Because,
qu'ils ont entendu, dans le fond, ils ont entendu.
yeah, because they know that our people are stupid. That our people are a bunch of suckasses who sell out and accept the elected system.
Je suis pas capable de traduire ce qu'il dit des fois.
Anybody,
Maybe should now.
any of our people who join the elective system,
Ah, mais il a raison.
they
Les gens sont
they
stupides.
relinquish their rights forever. They're no longer us. And so right now,
Exactly.
the taxation regime, the municipalization is implemented now, this year. The fiscal year starts in April.
L'année fiscale.
And so that was applied in 1984. Now, the self-government negotiations, you don't have to have a final, say, contract to know what everything is. When they started the negotiations, they automatically changed everybody's funding to things that maybe you've heard this reference before, AFAs. They're what's known as alternate funding arrangements. The moment that any reserve entered into negotiations on self-government,
Non, j'ai pas entendu ça.
Aussitôt que probablement c'est un terme en français.
Ah,
their monies stopped coming. They then had to get their monies through alternate funding arrangement, which meant from 1984, all monies coming to Native communities were all funneled through a bank, one bank
Oh, wow.
in Edmonton.
À travers une
Oh
banque.
my God. Oh, ouais.
Now, the bank,
Maintenant, la banque,
in order for it to distribute its funds, has to apply to certain rules.
Le fédéral, ça?
La banque est
Ah, juste la banque.
The rules that they got to apply to is that in order for them to give out money, that they got to have all kind of paperwork, right? To say, yeah, this is where the money went. And officially, the only ones that the government will allow to receive money are people who are registered. So every community, in order for them to get funding, had to become registered, meaning
Oh, wow.
they had to incorporate themselves by
Ça a rapport avec
accepting.
les Américains, c'est ça? Ok, ça c'est canadien, mais c'est qui permet
No,
ça?
this is here, you. This is you, right here. Who allowed it was all the sellouts.
Ouais,
and
C'est tous les vendus.
Ok.
all the
Dans les
sellouts.
fédérales, dans le fond?
Des réserves.
Les réserves, les conseils de vente.
Ah,
Ils
les
sont pas
conseils
communs,
de
ouais.
vente.
Qui sont à la fin des
Ouais,
employés
oh my
du
God.
fédéral.
Exactement.
C'est grave.
Oh, this is the assembly of foolish
C'est
natives.
l'assemblée des.
La corruption,
Ouais.
the big corruption.
The assembly of foolish natives was created by Brian Mulroney. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know
L'Assemblée
about
Ouais,
it.
des Premières Nations.
Ouais, ouais.
La Première Nation, elle a été fondée par Brian Mulroney.
You know why he created that? Huh? Oh no, not Brian. Chrétien.
Jean
Chrétien.
Chrétien.
Jean Chrétien.
Yeah, because I had confronted Jean Chrétien in 1995 at the G8 in Halifax.
Je me souviens de ça.
So, wait, was Mulroney before Chrétien?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it was Mulroney. It was Mulroney. He appointed George Erasmus to be the first kiss ass, the grand poobah of the Assembly of Foolish Natives.
The grand poobah.
Lichard de cul, lichard de cul.
That's kind of words I don't understand.
So George Erasmus is a lawyer who already pledged his allegiance to the Queen by joining the bar. Now, how could you have somebody who's pledged their allegiance to the Queen? How could that person represent you? Unless you are a subject of the Queen. This is what you got to ask yourself. Am I a subject of the Queen? Because if you fall under the Assembly of Foolish Natives, you are a subject of that woman they call the Queen. And it was their agreement. The moment they accepted alternate funding arrangements, that put them under the Canadian Charter of Rights. So they didn't even have to have an end result contract for self-government. All they had to do is get all the assholes into the trap. Get in the trap, and then they pull the string and the box falls on them. Everybody, all Native people in so-called Canada who are stupid enough to be a part of the British imposed genocidal elective system are all in that box. Everybody.
There's a whole bunch.
I can say,
Une druide, là, oui.
I can say that I am the only person in all of so-called Canada who has confronted them on those political levels to have one of their official representative sellouts, mayors here in Ganawage, the late Joe Norton, actually identify in a town meeting, which I have on video, where he claims to represent everybody in Ganawage. Go to your reserve and the elected mayor will claim to represent everybody on your reserve. Even if there's traditional people, even if there's people who don't vote, that sellout ass kisser is going to claim that they represent everybody. Now, Joe Norton, the sellout ass kisser here, claimed that of all the people, the long-nosed people, everybody. I had him admit in the town meeting, the only person anywhere that has this as evidence, and he said, no, I do not represent you, Stuart Myers. So in all of so-called Canada, every native person is all represented under that system, except for me. Now, is this a real thing? Well, it depends on the person. If you want to have, say, again, if there's 100 parts of you, if you want to have those 100 parts clean, if you want to have them separated from corruption, then yes, it's very important. It's very important that you can establish that those ass-kissing sellouts within the British imposed genocidal elective system don't represent you. Can you prove that they don't represent you? This is the thing, to be able to prove it. Now, this is where we have to then scramble to be able to prove that we are not in their system. And to not be in their system, we have to be in ours. So, okay, we can say that tonight.
Oh, my battery is going.
What?
I don't have much battery left.
I don't have.
Okay, we can
Well,
say,
I have-
okay, let's save time here.
I have
We
a
can
cable-
say that tonight we have a special counsel. Or today, we have a special counsel.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Emergency.
Or don't even say tonight or today, just say we have special counsel. With our friends from different nations.
Avec nos amis de différentes nations.
You what's on here? On your end?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
If you can plug this.
I don't know how to do this. so-
Well, I cannot do everything at the same
I'll
time.
do it.
You what?
Oh my God.
You know, you take the thing, you put it in the hole, and you put the other one in the other hole.
Il y aurait aimé ça, ça, à soir.
Hey,
Ça aurait été
hey,
fun,
yeah.
ce soir-là.
You what's on here?
Ça l'aurait rejoint pas mal.
Ira, my boyfriend,
Stutznet.
cannot deal with corruption at all. And lots of things that you mentioned,
Je le laisse là.
Ira? The only thing that he has a feeling to do with is with guns. He was brought up with guns when he was a kid, and I'm trying to help him in his feeling that he doesn't need that to protect his community. So being here tonight for me will help.
C'est tellement intéressant de
So he
voir.
has that the guns don't come from the so he needs to acknowledge that because the guns were put in his hand at 85. Imagine that. So
What?
it's
He ain't got no guns.
no, this is what I told him. I said, warriors of the land don't need guns. And he's trying like to go through that, and he's going through a healing right now. And I was wondering if it would be a good thing with women to all do a women circle with drums sometimes from all the nation and gather somewhere to empower our sacred femininity in order to have this witness all over the directions to like a call for life. I don't know if this is something we could organize, but this is what comes in my heart right now, and I would like to share this to you as
You
well
know that-
before I leave.
Oh.
Before I leave.
You know that we speak about our wounds in the life of person. We speak about our wounds in the life of person. That's pretty empowering. Huh?
Okay, are we ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, so Saturday night we usually do our Kanienkeha class that lasts from 7 till 9.
Habituellement, on fait notre classe à cette année.
Wyagerda was the
Sorry,
teacher.
people.
So obviously tonight,
Ça, c'est le monde qui est là.
so we're just gonna do a few
Je peux pas faire les deux en
phrases
même
here.
temps. On va
Cool.
juste faire une couple de
C'est bon.
Is anybody translating?
I'm translating.
So this is the phrases that
I'm juggling.
we're using tonight. What does it say?
We have a special council with our friends with different nations, and in Kanienkeha it reads,
Yukwatahaya, Skatne, Guadoro Sua, Tiohuza Denu.
Yungwatsahayan skatne ungwadaro su'a tiuhun sadeño.
Yongwadzahaya skatne ongwaden rosono
Su'a.
su'a. Tiohunza denyo.
Tiohuza Denu.
Tiohunza denyo.
T-H-I.
Tiuhun sadeño.
Tio. Oh, okay. Tio. Tiohun sadenyo. Tiohun sadenyo. Oh, we gotta put some
Yeah, we
commas and
didn't
stuff
break it
in
out.
there.
Yeah, it's the challenge of the night.
I need a TV in the TV.
Katne ungwatang rosuan tiohun saden.
Elsa.
Oh,
Tu
also.
vas pas faire le tour ici?
Oh, do
Ah, okay,
everybody
let's,
in here
okay,
first.
hang on. Ouais, parce que je suis habituée à que tu sois la dernière.
Yeah, just want to go. Yongwatahaya, Skatne, Ungwate, Ongwates, Rosua, Tiohun Sadeño.
Mhm.
Okay, it could,
Sanahe,
Hayon,
Hanyon,
Yukwatahaya,
Skatne.
Skatne,
Ayosquatsanye,
Skatne,
Skatne,
yeah, Ungwadoro Sua,
Oquantan, Usuana,
Tiohun Sadeño.
Tion, Santanio.
Excellent.
It's easier for French. Ooh, la, la. I don't know about that. I will try.
Okay.
Oh, no, Marc?
Ayong Katne
Doro Sua,
Owantarasona
Tiohun Sadeño.
tiohon sateño. Okay. First try. I'm sorry.
Young Watson.
Hayon,
Hayon.
Skatne,
Skatne.
Skatne, Ungwadoro Sua,
Wangwatansona.
Tiohun Sadeño.
Kiho.
Uza.
Unsatenyo.
Yay! Elsa.
We have the sign.
Yes. There's little hearts of love. Il y a des petits cœurs qui sont apparus pour dire qu'ils ont aimé ça.
Where do we hear her?
I don't know. Elsa, do you hear us? Oh, we don't. Oh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead. It's your turn.
Okay. Jungwatson hayong skadne ungwatanorosona tiohon sateño.
Very good, Elsa.
Yay! France.
Yunquatsahaya, Skatne, Ungwadenson, Ungwadenron Sumha, Dion Sadenyo.
Yeah, no,
Yee! Janet.
Okay. Unkwa Yon no wait. Yonkwatson
Hayon,
Ayon Scott Dene Onkwaden Rosuna
yeah,
Tio hun sa denion.
Tio hunsa den.
Tio hun sa denion. Noah.
Lisa. Lisa's there. Yeah, Lisa's there.
Yonguatsana, Han, Yon, Skutne, Onguat, Denaros, Denaros,
Soa.
Soha, Dion, Da, Za, Dion, Yon,
Tio hunsa denyo.
Dion, On, Son, Denyo.
Mhm. What else do we want to say?
We must free our minds of false affiliations.
Okay, hang on.
I didn't speak.
Oh, sorry, Mark. Oh my goodness. Go ahead. Sorry. I forgot you. Sorry. Oh, my fault.
Junquatsahaya, Skatne, Unguatorasuna, Tio Hunsataya.
Yeah. So he was saying we must disaffiliate.
Free our minds. We must free our minds.
We must free our minds.
But I don't remember.
Next, see.
So what that they will need?
Oh boy.
Onze.
So.
En.
Oh.
All the way, take everything.
Oh.
Take one end now. Onze. Wa. Yade. Way.
Non, à ma fête, c'est
Yes. So what that they will need? And I.
So what is
I-O.
double I?
H-A-K-A.
On a pratiqué la ligne
Space.
Gay or God? At the end?
Okay.
He is ashamed to be a Mi'kmaq. Yes, he even has the flag of the Kanienkeha tattooed on his forearm.
The ayahuasca?
Yeah, he has that tattooed here.
How do we break this one? It's like super long.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not a joke. Yeah. He's not proud of
Yeah, but he could correct that. About the drumming that a lot of life givers could get together and drum together. What about we talk to her eventually, not tonight, but about November 10th? In more, whatever the place would be, Mont-Laurier.
Yeah.
On va parler parce que
But don't put too much on the table right now because you're gonna get into.
You just said we must free our minds.
We must, of all false affiliations.
Of all
False or bad. Actually, it would be better to connect it to Ganiguraksa.
Okay, let's finish this, then we'll go to the other. Or this is all gonna be one?
I guess it's just one phrase, right? We must free our minds of all false affiliations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agüe,
Fue,
Guajeto,
Guajeto,
mhm,
Nicaniguro.
Nica,
Ni.
Niga, Nigo,
he said
Niga.
complicated sentence. I said you didn't see it.
Do we want to break that? Niga, Nigo,
Fue, Guajeto, Nica, okay, Nica, Ni.
Niga, Ni.
You could break that.
All right. So we're ready.
Ready? Tell everybody to listen with their ears. Okay?
Avec nos oreilles comme faut les sons.
Yeah, everybody listen, because when your turn comes. Onexi on se wata de when you hage, ugwa ni gora, agwego wa hetko, ni ago, ni ka ni gon road.
Onexi, Ansewadate, Wayeniohage, Onwanigunra, Agwego, Wahetka, Niganigunroda.
Yeah. Onexi, Anzewade, Wadade, Wayaniohage, Ongwanigura. Ongwanigura. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's it.
No,
Oh,
the next
Agwego, Wahetka, Niganigunroda.
Okay.
Restens raus. There was one sentence missing. Onixi, Onzewadade, Wayaniohage, Ongwanigura, Agwego, Wahetka, Niganigunroda.
You're going to go.
Onexi, Ansewadate, Wayaniohage, Ongwanigura, Agwego, Wahetka, Nigani, Gonroda.
None of that.
Yeah.
Toi, tu trouves ça drôle, hein? OK, ben tu vas me transcrire ça.
Okay. Onekti,
Onekti,
Ozawa,
Ezowa,
Tadewe,
Edewe,
Niohage,
Nioage,
Ungwa Nigura.
Onkwa Migora,
Yeah. And then on the bottom, Agwego,
Agwego,
Wahetka,
Wahetka,
Nika Nikunroda.
Niko, Nikon, Honta.
You got it 100% for them.
But you only told her what the day was, what the day were. You didn't weigh on.
Oh, Wayon, Wayon, Wayon.
She got it.
One, Kesi,
Onekti,
Onekti, one Swanati,
Ozawada de,
Wadate,
Wayano,
Nioak,
Hage,
Onkwa Nikoa,
Go, Ungwa Nigura go,
It's not Nigunrago, it's Nigunra.
Okwa Nigura. And
Nigua,
and then on the bottom again, Agwego,
Agwega,
Wahetka,
Wahetkan, Nikani, Kon, Rotan.
it's the one. It's the one.
Onexi, Ansewadate, Nioage, Ongwanigonra, Agwegon, Waheken, Nigoroten.
Hey.
Oh my God, my brain.
Elsa.
Oh, it's my turn.
It is.
Okay, you got
Okay. Onexi, Ansebadade, Wayaniohage, Ongwanigura, Agwego, Wega, Niganigurota.
Hey, France.
I got confused when Wayageru repeated for the other guy because it seems like he went Onekti Ansewa Dade. So shouldn't we put the comma after the wa? Anyway, Wayene Nio Age Ongwanigura Agwego Wahekte
Wahetka.
Wahetka Niganigura Niganigurodon.
Nikanigurod.
Niganigurodon.
Janet.
Okay, Onexi, Enzewadade, Weyen, Niohage, Onkonigunra, Akwego, Wahetka, Nikani con roda.
Mhm. Lisa.
Onekti, onse wadade, wiaane, nia aga hage, ongwa negonra, agwego, wahetgon, nigani gon rodon.
Mhm. And last but not least, Mark.
Onegti, anse wadade wayan niuhake, ungwa nigura, aguego wahetka nigani gon rota. Circle.
Okay, so, and come together as one people. Of many colors.
As one people of many colors?
Yeah.
Oops. Hang on. Okay.
Dano? Odawa, ja, da, ro, get. Sungueta. K-W-E-T-A, Sungueta. Space and then many colors. Cha, T-H-I-A, T-E-W-A, S-O-H, K-W-A, K, P-A-E, K-W-E-S-O-N-E.
How do we break on the
Montewa, Jata, Cha, de, T-H-I-A-T, was so. Okay, and then Uwe so, so we got new people, so we go Uwe. Dano, the wajat the road again. Dano, the wajat the road again. Sungueta, Chato was so okay, Uwe so.
Dano ante wa ya darorge sun weda ya te wa suwage un wesua.
Ooh, sounds like a tongue twister. Okay. Dano ande wajada road Zungueda tiade waso kwage ungosun.
Dano onde wajata roroge zongweda jade wasungwage ungwesunha. Dano onde wajata roroge zongweda jade wasungwage ungwesunha. I almost said circle. Yeah. Comment?
Dano?
Dano.
They were jot the road again.
What the one?
Jot the road.
Jota.
Road again.
Okay.
Zungueta.
Jonqueda.
Chate.
Chate.
Was so quage.
Was so okay.
Ungue son.
Au poisson.
Bien, très bien.
Merci.
Tanan, Antewa, Tiata, Owoge, Son, Tueta, Tueti, Washu, Quage, Wonquisona.
Yeah, good.
Mhm.
Le premier fois.
Son truc à elle.
Your trick?
I give him tricks already.
Tanon endwa tiata roroke son cueta tiate guaso guake on guasona.
Elsa.
Okay. Tanu ante wachanta roroke ante wachanta roroke tungeta chate waso kwake ongwesua.
France.
Dano andewatiata ruroge tsungueta diate wasu guage unguasuha.
Janet.
Dano, Ndewajate, Roroke, oops, hold on. Zunqueta, Jade, Wasunk, Guage, Onquisuna.
Lisa.
Danon, Ondewa Diate, Roroge, Tion Gueda, Diate, Waso Guage, Guake, Ongosune. Ongosune. Tuna.
Yeah. Mark.
Tanu, Tanun Antewa Chiata Roge, Tsungueta Chiate, Wasuguage, Unquesuma. Circle.
Okay. We must pledge to our mother that her children will do this.
We must pledge to our mother that our children will do this.
That her children
That her children will do
will do this.
this. Okay.
Oh, yeah, tea, Rory. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. No.
On.
Oh, yeah, tea. Oh, yeah, tea, T-H-O. Rory. Space. You keep me star. What's that?
That her children.
Ago, yo, o, loa. Okay, space. Oh, no, they're wired. Oh, no, N-E-N, T-H-O-N-E-N. T-H-O-N-E-N. Oh, no, they're wired. Okay.
We should break. Oh no, this one.
Oh, yeah, T. Oh, yeah. T. Tirori. Yuki. Yuki. Easton. Ago. To. No. Dewa. Yeah. Okay. Tirori yuki nishtaha. Goyogo. Tono dawai.
Anietirori yonkinistaha agoye ogua tone de wayere.
Anietirori yonkinistaha agoyank ogua tonan de wayeri. Yerde.
Tona de
De
Wayere.
wayere.
Tona de wayere. How?
Tona de Wayere.
Tona de wayere. Yarde or yerde?
Yere.
Yere. De wayere.
Tona de wayere. Tona
De Wayere.
Mother, what is the word mother?
Okay. All right.
Which one is mother?
Yonkinistaha.
Okay.
Is it Anye Tirori? Anye Tirori, Yonkinistan, Agoyan, Ayogan Ogunha, Donan de Wayere. Anye Tirori, Yonkinistan, Agoyan Ogunha, Donan de Wayere. A good repeater.
Oye Tirori.
Aye Teori,
Yuki Nistaha.
Yokinesteyor,
Nistaha. Ago yon on the bottom there. Ago yon ogun.
Aku Yogona,
Yeah. Tono
Dono
de Wayere.
de Waye.
Any Tirori, Anki Nitan Ha, Akohen, Ahakona, Tu Men, Tu Hae,
Wayere.
Tu Waye.
Yeah.
En Tirori, Yonkinistan, Agoyanokona, Donante Wayere.
Elsa.
Oni tironi. Sorry. Oni tironi. You can kana. Agoya ogona. Donante wayere.
France.
Any tirori yunkinistaha agoyan agunha tone de wayere.
Janet.
Wait. Any diroli yonki nistaa ogonia oguna done dewa ia ieri.
Lisa.
Ioni ti rorori roro Ianti rori Yonki nistan ha ago ion ogo do no de wa eri. Ieri.
Mark.
Aniente Rory, Yunki Nistaha, Agoya Okuna, Tona Tewa Yere. Circle.
Okay, Lisa. I just got to say that it's beautiful to hear you. You may think that you're stumbling all over yourself and like you're not getting the words out or the syllables out properly, but the fact that you are maintaining and that you are trying, we could hear it we could hear the effort in your words. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, tonight we have special counsel. Today is special counsel. All this week there's special counsel going on. We seem to be in the time of business, whether or not we realize it or if we're even consciously a part of it. we're in it. And so tonight, what we have concluded truly is the most important business when we identify that right from the beginning, that we have a special council with our friends with different nations, of different nations.
Hang on. Okay. Yeah.
Does that change the wording any? No? Okay. Okay, we have special counsel with our friends of different nations.
If you have the camera there, that's why I'm holding it towards the fire.
Oh, that's a camera?
Yeah.
That's a phone.
We must, okay, there's a part missing. We got to throw something in here before. What's going on here? Did I touch something?
No, it's because, anyway.
Okay, there's something that's got to go in there. Above here. And we have determined. That's what's missing. So we have had special counsel with our friends of different nations. And we have determined.
Okay, yate yung wa vi wa yung dao. Yate yung wa
Yung Guardi.
Okay.
And dot. Put one between the dot and the.
Oh, I forgot to share this again with everybody. Hang on. Because I can move. Okay. Dano, yate yung wari wayang tao. Are we going around with this?
Yeah, we got to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Dano yate yung wari wayang dao.
Dano, yate yung wari wayang tao.
Dano yade yung Guardi wayang dao.
Dano yade yung wari wayang dao. Dano yade yung wari wayang dao. Daniel iwa yate yung kawande wayang dao.
Taho anti angkwai on tao.
Dano yante ayang wari wayang dao.
Elsa.
Tanu yate yung wari watang yai watang wayang tao.
France.
Dano yate yung kwari wayen dano.
Janet.
Dano yate yung Guardi wayang dao.
Lisa.
Don't yate yung Guardi wayang dao.
Marc.
Danu yate yung Guardi wayang dao. Circle.
Okay, so tonight, this is truly a groundbreaking Kanienkeha class that we're having. This is on a different level where, as you know, in the past, it's words that are incorporated from policies and application of law that we're involved in. Now, tonight, the Kanienkeha class has adjusted to accommodate a special council that was necessary to have at this time. And through this council, we have determined, established first between us common ground, common understanding of something that is happening to us all the same equally, regardless of if we are native or non-native. And so we identified together that all peoples, regardless of what color they are, what language they speak, and what we imagine divides us, must come together, and we must pledge this to our mother. And when we say our mother, you know what we are speaking of. We are speaking of our Mother Earth, and the purpose for pledging to our mother is because it is she that needs our action to stand in her defense. And what we stand in her defense is to stand in defense of our identity, because it is she who has created us. And if we allow our identity to change, then we are changing her. We must not comply with this. We must resist any man-made manipulations of the DNA structure of our Mother Earth, whole or part. And so together, we have come together today to identify what we are going to do. And so our business has already begun with each other. We are already engaged. And so we say from here to our friends that have come here today to bring us these messages, to bring us this new connection, this new area of or a new breath of life that we can both engage in, that we can both benefit from. And so truly today, we are really fortunate. We are of the most fortunate people to be who we are, where we are, when we are. And we give thanks. And so these words are a reflection of the things that we have to be thankful for and the thanks that we give. We pledge to each other, not only from people to people within the original nations of Turtle Island, but from people to people from our Mother Earth, as citizens of our Mother Earth. We know we must come together, and the time to drop all differences has come a long time ago. But now, if we wait any longer, we are truly going to have to pull a rabbit from a hat. Right now, it is within our abilities to do this together. And so we pledge this. So we put these words down tonight. These words are spoken in the fire by all of us. And these words are true words because we had determined this between ourselves first. And so as we put these words down in the fire, it is the example now for others. It is to show that this is what our agenda is. This is what we pledge to each other. And so these words, take them home. Each of us, wrap our mind around it and share this with our friends, with our family, with our associates, with all the people that we work with. Share these words, not necessarily that they have to say it in Kanienkeha, but just to think it. Think it in your language. Understand it the way that you can. Wrap your mind around it so that you represent it. That it's not just words that are being spoken from something that we heard, but that it is become us. And so tonight, truly, we have done good work because we have made ground now in areas that no one else has. We have reached out together. We have bridged the gaps. And so we are very fortunate. So the only thing left now to do is to close. I know that we did not specifically do an opening for the Kanienkeha class, but this was a continuation of the Women's Nation meeting from this afternoon, that even though they may have done a closing, it was a continuation of business all day, right up until now. So even though there was not a formal opening of the Kanienkeha class, now we have to do the formal closing.
We should do the recording first, or we are not doing the recording first?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's true. I forgot. It's because it's special circumstances. So we're gonna do the the recording of the words first, and then we'll do the closing.
When you're ready.
We have a special council with our friends of different nations. Tano yati yung kwa ni kung raya ta, and we have Tano yati yung kwa ni raya ta, and we have determined onakchi onzawa tate winyata ohage kwa ni kung. We must free our minds. Also, what that when you hage we must free our minds. Of all the false bad affiliations. Tano what the wajat the Lord gets gueta chati wasoko ge and come together as one people of many colors. Oyetiror yukinistan agoyo. We must pledge to our mother that her children will do this.
Okay, so since this is not just your average Kanienkeha class that we're having, this is something of special status tonight. Since this, we're not going to leave it just to, the way that we do the regular closing, like just leave it to somebody. So we're gonna ask Warrior Garrett to do the closing, to keep everything in the spirit of everything that was discussed, to put this officially through our fire, even though it is nighttime. It is something that we are coming together under extreme measures that amount to emergency maneuvers, and this is to be done at any time, regardless of if it is day or night. And so this is the vein in which we ask Warrior Garrett to close the council.
Okay, only Giarit, Yisaka, what the day comes like the one more to be gone to put out the road. To what's a higher snow, tunes at any forward to get it, then you on and all that to a tar of quick. See, no, the Gary Hudar and Jack, and I know what I guess, like, no. Then we are the holding it and say, you know what, other than Kili Stone, what's up? And a great net, you know what, don't see you forget about our guess. And the net, you can you tell again, you're not the way that you're not the way I just. They don't have cows, never did you. And the net when you hit something then. We see to go, then we see to our saw to say to the general just to get going attending to put in yacht the garden. Then they're going to turn to room that the boy is now. Then the nets, Jacob says that you go, Kia Jack on your words in the whole video of the job. But the kitchen of all the gear the money they're going to agree that you send in there. It's what then you turn is try to go on again, try to go again, I can't go here, your headstone. And I got on. I got to Guanusto. One if we are 20 orders, I got to leave what 20. That 10 also get me going. You said, put on now, great. So when you go to go to the guardians, I got to leave what's near. Now, call make which. Let's see, thank you.
Yeah. Tonight, this is a special encounter. This is a beautiful encounter. This kind of stuff, we have meetings. I'm sure you have meetings like this all the time. But this, we got to acknowledge, this is extraordinary. And so to conclude in all of our affairs tonight, of which we discussed, regardless of if it was, you want a slice of pizza or you want to save a Mother Earth, regardless of all these things, the most important thing is the human connection that we make tonight. And so to conclude, we will do that human connection. Yeah, we'll go on. Yeah, we'll go. Merci.
Marie-Claude.
Yeah, we'll go on.
It's a
Good one.
Angèle.
Another good one.
Angèle, Marie-Claude.
Okay, everybody, I'm gonna hug you. I'm hugging you. Hug. Hugging. Okay. C'est bon, c'est bon. We're all hugging in here. It's getting dirty in here. It's getting X-rated.
The music now.
What the heck is that?
I think it's Mark that is coming back to his guitar.
Hey, Marc, tu joues de la guitare. Yes.
Okay, so everybody, as you know, this kind of stuff happens here all the time. We're always receiving people. There's always something going on every day here. It's really, if you were here, it'd be even too much sometimes. But as you know, it is the most important stuff that we discuss. It is connections, it's ally making, and it's groundbreaking. And it's stuff that we can all feel good about, knowing that we're doing something that is actually tangible, that has actual ground gain, that you can see actual benefits from it. So anyways, with that, I guess we're gonna close this, right? Yeah. Okay, now we'll go, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Love you all.
Sason Dios.
Ana, sason Dios. Bonne nuit pour elle. Bye, ma belle.